Long before humanity learned to write its own story, ancient teachers whispered a truth so strange, so powerful, that only the bold dared to believe it. They said that reality itself is not built from matter, but from mind. That everything we call existence, every star, every breath, every moment of joy or sorrow, begins first as a spark inside an invisible, intelligent field. And they call this truth the first principle, the one law that shapes all others, the law of mentalism. All is mind, the universe is mental. These words appear in the ancient Hermetic teachings, attributed to Hermes Trismegistus, the legendary figure said to be a fusion of the Egyptian god Thoth and the Greek god Hermes. But the meaning hidden inside that short sentence goes deeper than philosophy. It is a map of creation, a blueprint for understanding why things happen the way they do, why patterns repeat, why destiny feels both mysterious and familiar, and why the human mind holds far more power than we have ever been taught to believe. To understand mentalism, you must imagine the universe not as a machine, but as a living consciousness, an infinite mind, dreaming countless realities, each unfolding through the laws of vibration, correspondence, polarity, rhythm, cause and effect, and the great dance of gender. This first principle is the foundation beneath all others. Without it, none of the Hermetic teachings make sense. With it, suddenly everything does. Hermes taught that the universe is not outside of us. We are inside it, and it is inside us. We are expressions of the same cosmic mind that shaped galaxies and atoms. The ancient mystics used metaphors to make this truth easier to hold. They spoke of the universe as a dreamer and all beings as characters within the dream. Not illusions, but expressions, sparks of the same fire, drops from the same ocean, waves rising and falling upon the same endless sea. But mentalism isn't just a poetic idea. It is a law, and laws have consequences. If all is mind, then every experience begins with a mental cause. Every emotion, every choice, every conflict, every desire is part of a deeper movement happening within consciousness. When we feel lost, disconnected, or fragmented, it is not because the universe abandons us, but because we have forgotten the part of ourselves that is connected to everything. When we feel powerless, it is not because life is against us, but because we have not yet learned how to work with the forces that shape reality. Ancient initiates understood this. They practiced mentalism not as theory, but as a daily discipline. They trained themselves to observe their thoughts the way a navigator studies the stars, not to judge them, but to understand where they lead. They believed that every thought carries a frequency, and that frequencies attract similar experiences. In the modern world, we might call this psychology, or energy, or even quantum behavior. But long before science was born, the Hermetic sages knew that the mind is the architect of experience. They taught 3 levels of mentalism: the cosmic, the personal, and the practical. The first level says that the universe itself is a manifestation of a greater mind. This means that life is not random, that meaning is woven into everything, and that creation unfolds with intention. The second level says that the human mind is a fragment of the universal mind, which means we participate in creation, whether we know it or not. And the third level says that when we consciously direct our thoughts, emotions, and intentions, we begin to shape the way reality responds to us. In other words, the universe is mental, and so are you. Take a moment and think about your own life. Consider every major turning point you've experienced. The moments that changed you, challenged you, or awakened something inside you. Before any action happened, before any opportunity appeared, there was always a thought, a possibility, a desire, a moment where something inside you whispered, "There is more." That whisper is the seed of mentalism. The Hermetic teachers believe that every transformation begins in the unseen realm of the mind long before it unfolds in the physical world. They compared thoughts to keys, emotions to fuel, imagination to the architect, and belief to the spark that brings everything to life. Modern science, without realizing it, echoes this in subtle ways. Neuroscience shows that the brain cannot distinguish perfectly between imagination and reality. Psychology confirms that focus determines perception. Quantum physics suggests that observation influences behavior. When the ancients said all is mind, they weren't speaking metaphorically. They were describing the underlying structure of existence, a universe where consciousness is the root system beneath every visible form. But mentalism is not a tool for controlling reality. It is a guide for understanding it. It teaches that your thoughts do not create the world, but they do shape your experience within it. They create patterns of attention, patterns of emotion, patterns of meaning, and those patterns attract experiences that match their frequency. If you walk through life believing that everything is hostile, the world will confirm your belief. Not because it is true universally, but because your mind will filter reality that way. If you believe you are unworthy, you will ignore signs of love and opportunity. If you believe you are capable of growth, you will find paths that were invisible before. Mentalism is the law that explains why individuals with identical circumstances can live entirely different lives. But the deepest part of this teaching goes even further. Hermes said that the universe itself listens, not in the way humans listen, but through resonance, through frequency, through alignment. Your thoughts are not just internal monologues, they are signals, vibrations, movements of consciousness that ripple outward. When your thoughts are scattered, the signals you send are weak. When your thoughts are intentional, the universe responds with clarity. This does not mean that thinking positively will erase challenges. The ancients never taught that. What they taught is that the quality of your inner world shapes the way you meet those challenges and the way you transform through them. Mentalism empowers you, but it also humbles you. Because if all is mind, then every person you meet is part of the same field of consciousness. Every conflict is a meeting of two stories shaped by belief. Every moment of connection is recognition, a reminder that we are all expressions of the same infinite intelligence. This is why Hermetic initiates practice silence, reflection, and observation. They believe that mastery of the mind begins not with control, but with awareness. To observe a thought without becoming it, to feel an emotion without being consumed by it, to choose a response instead of reacting unconsciously. These are the foundations of mental mastery. In your own life, you may have felt moments where the world seemed to align with your inner state, where clarity brought clarity, chaos brought chaos, and emotional calm seemed to open doors that force never could. You may have felt intuition guiding you, coincidences appearing at the right time, insights rising uninvited. These moments are not accidents. They are echoes of the law working beneath the surface. Mentalism is not about forcing reality to bend to your will. It is about aligning your inner world with the movements of the universe. It teaches that your thoughts are the beginning of experience, not the end. That your beliefs shape the path you walk, and that your inner state ripples outward in ways you cannot always see, but can always feel. When you understand this, life becomes less random, less chaotic. You begin to recognize patterns, not because the world changes, but because your perception does. The Hermetic sages believe that perception is the gateway to reality, that to change your experience, you must first change the way you see, not through denial, but through clarity, not through fantasy, but through presence. At the core of mentalism is a simple but profound truth. You are not separate from the universe you experience. You are an active participant in its unfolding. Every thought you choose is a brushstroke on the canvas of your existence. Every belief you hold is a doorway. Every emotion is a frequency, and every intention you carry becomes a subtle force that shapes the path ahead. So the question becomes, what kind of world are you creating from within? The universe does not punish or reward, it reflects. It mirrors the patterns of the mind back to the one who holds them, not as judgment, but as an opportunity to grow. Perhaps this is why you have been drawn to these teachings. Perhaps something inside you is waking up. The part that recognizes truth not through logic, but through resonance. The part that knows there is more to reality than what the eyes can see. The part that senses that your thoughts, your emotions, your inner world carry meaning far beyond the surface. Mentalism invites you to step into that awareness, to pay attention to the stories you repeat inside yourself, to observe the patterns of your mind the way a sage observes the stars, to ask not, what is happening to me, but what is this reflecting within me? To recognize that your consciousness is not a byproduct of the universe, it is part of its fabric. You are not a spectator in the cosmos. You are a participant in its creation, a spark of the infinite mind discovering itself through experience. And maybe, just maybe, the universe has been trying to tell you something. That the power you seek has always been within you. That every step, every hardship, every insight has prepared you for this understanding. That the mind is not a prison, but a key. Because in the end, the law of mentalism is not just a teaching, it is an invitation to remember who you are, to reshape your inner world, and to walk through life with the awareness that your consciousness matters, that your thoughts matter, that you matter. Perhaps reality is not as solid as it seems. Perhaps the universe was never outside of you. Perhaps the greatest secret is this: the world you see begins in the mind you carry. Follow the Midnight Library for stories from the edge of history, faith, and the mysteries that still shape humanity.